Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if it's not your first time here, thanks for coming back. So today, I'm going to be doing a spin on a video that I usually do here on my channel, which is would I repurchase these eyeshadow palettes? But I'm actually going to do them with other products in my collection as well as eyeshadow palettes. So I've basically gone through my collection, opened up each of my drawers, stuck my hand in the drawer and pulled out a random product. And I'm going to let you know if it just randomly went missing from my collection today, if some makeup maniac came into my house, stole this item from my collection, would I go out of my way to repurchase it? I think this is really telling because I have a lot of products in my collection. Would I, knowing what I know about the product today, the performance of it, the quality, the shade, would I go out of my way to purchase it again? I think it's gonna be a little different than the eyeshadow palettes because I am obsessed with eyeshadow palettes. I love them. They're all my children. Like most of them, percentage-wise, I would absolutely repurchase many of the palettes I have. But I feel like, for example, with lip products, I have so many lip products that are so similar that say one of them went missing from my collection, I feel like I probably could use something I already have to get the same effect. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. So I pretty much have one of every category-ish in front of me here today that I'm going to let you know my thoughts if I would repurchase them. And if you enjoy this video while you're watching it, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot when you do that. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel before you leave if you love makeup content. I'm gonna link all of these products down below if they are still available. If they're not still available, I'm pretending like they are still available in terms of hypothetically repurchasing them. The original creator of this video for the eyeshadow palette version is Dolly Mama Beauty. I will link her channel down below. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the base products. Sure, let's do it. So the first product that I'm gonna talk about is a primer. This is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer. So we've seen a lot of brands do these types of primers now. It is a gripping primer that has also a hydrating factor to it. So I've tried a few different versions of this, like the Milk Hydro Grip was the original one that I personally tried. I've tried the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Primer, which is pretty similar in that same vein, like a jelly, sticky, hydrating primer. This one, I've not tried the e.l.f. Gripping Primer or whatever the new one is, but this one is good. I don't like it as much as the other two that I mentioned, but I think it's a good primer, especially for the price point. But I would say it's not as sticky as the Milk. It's a little bit thinner. It's definitely still hydrating, but me as someone that I really don't use primer very often. I really don't. I have very oily skin. You know, I feel like these gripping primers sometimes can clog my pores, so I really pick and choose when I use them. I'm not a huge primer person at the end of the day. And so if this went missing from my collection, I would not repurchase it. Again, I already have the Milk and I have the e.l.f. Mint Melt Primer. So I feel like I could get the same effect using those and I like those better than this one. Not to say it's a bad product, it's fine, but no, I would not repurchase this primer. All right, then we're gonna go on to foundation. This is the Oma by Sharon C Flawless in Real Life Skin Perfecting Foundation. I have mine in the shade Fair Lady T6. So this is actually the foundation that I'm wearing on my face today. I did my makeup before I did this picking of the products situation. So I didn't plan this, but I do like this foundation. I did just do a foundation declutter. I will link that down below in the description box if you want to check it out. This did make it through the declutter. Would I repurchase this? You know, I think at this moment, if this went missing, I don't think I would repurchase it. I like it. I think it's pretty. It looks really nice upon application for the first, I would say 5 hours. On my skin, I'm extremely oily, greasy even. And I feel like this does start to break up on me after about the 5-hour mark, which is fine. I mean, many foundations do, but it's not one of my favorite foundations. And I think I would be satisfied with the foundations that I have. I did end up keeping like 17 foundations, which is a lot of foundations. And I don't feel like this one is unique enough and essential enough to my collection for me to go out and repurchase it right now. So I would not repurchase it. I mean, it's a fine foundation. It's good. I like it, but I would not repurchase it. Okay, powders. Let's go to powders. So this is the Ilia Fade Into You Soft Focus Finishing Powder. This was for a long time my holy grail setting powder. It was the only setting powder I used for a really long time. Now I will say this powder is very pricey and it is completely white. So if you do flash photography, probably is going to have a flashback. I don't do flash photography, okay? I don't. I'm not that famous yet. I really like this powder. It makes my skin look very airbrushed, very airbrushed. It's very thin. It's like an HD powder, so it's not a baking powder. I think this powder is beautiful. I've actually gone through an entire one. This is my second one and it's almost gone. I have to admit though, I have not used this in a really long time. Would I repurchase it? I'm really stuck on the one size translucent powder. I've been using that for about 6 months, at least straight, pretty much every day. But I think I would repurchase this one. I do like having it in my collection, especially when I'm very fair, like towards the winter time. I like having this one. It makes my under eyes look really airbrushed and adds actually a slight brightness. So I think I would repurchase this one. I do really love it. I really, really love it. It's a very good powder. Okay, let's go on to cheek products now. So I have the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. So this is in the shade Honey Drip. I've heard really mixed things about this bronzer. I know some people really don't like it. I actually love this bronzer. It's one of my favorite drugstore cream bronzers. I love this tone, especially for when I'm a little bit more tan. It is more of an olive neutral undertone. I like the formula. It is definitely more gel-like, so it's not super opaque. There is some sort of transparency to it, so it looks like your skin and it doesn't look like paint on the skin. It blends really nicely. I like this cream bronzer a lot. I think it's wonderful and I would go repurchase it because I do like having it in my collection. I feel like it's a unique formula and it's a unique color that I don't really have in other cream bronzers in my collection. Okay, now we have a powder bronzer. Technically, it's a duo. This is from Wet n Wild. It's the Wet n Wild In Love with Cocoa. I have a lot of drugstore products, by the way. I didn't do that on purpose. It's just what my fingers grabbed for when I reached into my drawer. So this was a limited edition little duo. They had like those several collections where they had a whole bunch of food themed items or whatever. And I did buy quite a few things from that collection. It smells like cocoa powder, straight up. The smell has gotten less as the time has gone on. I remember when I first got it, it was very strongly chocolate scented, which actually I don't mind. I don't really love this duo. It's supposed to be a highlighter and a bronzer duo. This highlighter is almost more of like a white cream powder with a very, very soft sheen to it, but I don't really love it because it has quite a prominent base color. I don't mind like lit from within type of highlighters, but it just looks a little stripy and a little powdery on my skin because it is so strongly cream colored. And then the bronzer is quite deep for me, even when I'm tan, and it's kind of thicker of a powder, so I don't find that it's easy to blend. It's not really forgiving in terms of color and formula for me, so I would not repurchase this. I'm probably gonna declutter it at some point because it's just not my perfect kind of duo. All right, let's talk about cream blush and powder blush. So cream blush, I have the NYX Wonder Stick. This is a newer product to NYX. It did, that's right, mine's broken, I forgot. It did come out this year. It has 2 different cream blushes on either side. I think this product is nice. At the same time that this came out, they came out with a dual-ended bronzer and highlighter stick. I prefer the bronzer, most of all the products. But this is the light peach and baby pink version. So for me personally, I was the most excited about the light peach shade, which is this. And in my opinion, I don't feel like this is a light peach color. It looks very pink to me. It doesn't really look peach at all. It could just be me, but it looks more like mauve toned than anything else. But I will say, I think this is a really nice product. I do think that for my oily skin, it provides pretty good longevity. It is a little bit more of a matte formula, so it doesn't slip and slide. It doesn't look dewy on the cheeks. It looks pretty natural matte. So I like that. But I don't think I would repurchase it just because I have so many good cream blushes in my collection that I like over this that I don't think I would really miss it. I do think it's a nice product, but I probably wouldn't go out of my way to repurchase it, to be honest with you. Powder blush. I have the Flower Pots from Flower Beauty, and this is in the shade Spiced Petal. I love this blush. I love this blush. And I tell you what, I think I would repurchase it because I love the formula, but I also love the tone of this. I feel like the tone is so unique. It's like a warm pink, but has like a spicy little zhuzh to it. The formula of these blushes is so beautiful. It's buttery, smooth. It's a matte blush, but it also creates like a healthy looking sheen to the skin. They're really beautiful and they come in a lot of colors, but in particular, this one I would repurchase. It's unique in my collection and it's a beautiful formula. So yes, I would repurchase it. Let's talk about highlighter. So this is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I have mine in the shade 10 Be My Highlight. This was a very hyped highlighter for so long. And I don't know if you can tell, I barely used it because I don't like it. I don't like this highlighter. I don't really know what the hype is all about. It's kind of like I said with this Wet n Wild duo. I feel like there is quite a strong base to this. It looks really powdery on my skin. And I don't feel like it really gives hardly any highlighted effect to the skin. And I just do not like the tone. It looks chalky on my skin. I really don't like it. I don't know what else to say. I would not repurchase it. All right, I have 4 lip products to talk about. Let's start off with lip liner. So this is the e.l.f. Retro Paradise lip liner. This was one of the ones that came in that lip kit that they came out with the Retro Paradise collection. Honestly, I don't think I've ever used this one because of how dark brown it is. It is a true dark chocolate brown. I rarely wear shades like this, and I do actually have a chocolate brown liner from Milani that I prefer, and I would probably just use that. I don't need more than one in my collection, really, so I probably should just declutter this one. So that tells you that I would not repurchase it because I wouldn't even notice that it was missing in the first place. I do like these lip liners though. They came out with this one and I think 2 other ones that were lighter, and I think they're nice. They're good drugstore lip liners. You can't buy them individually. You never could in the first place. I didn't try their new ones that they released earlier this year, like the retractable ones. Let me know if you did try those, but no, I would not repurchase this. All right, let's talk about liquid lipstick. So this is the Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede Cozy Lip Cream in Nude Suede. I did purchase this year. I did put it in a speed reviews. The smell is very nice. It smells like coconut. But I will say I don't like this formula at all. I think that it is extremely thick. And the problem is, I think if I had a different shade, I might feel differently. This is so incredibly light on the lips that I really have to pair it with a darker lip liner and then put this in the center. But because it's so thick and so much lighter than my lip color, you can see a definite line of demarcation right there. And it just looks really gross. It looks really bad. I don't like it. If you have a different shade of this, let me know your thoughts. But it might just be that the shade doesn't work, but I also just don't like the formula. It just feels very heavy on the lips, very thick on the lips. It's not my favorite thing ever, so I'm gonna say no, I would not repurchase it. Lipstick, I have this one from Essence. This is nude lipstick, the semi-matte in the shade 03 Bold. I love this lipstick. It's one of my favorite drugstore lipsticks in my collection. I think the shade is so unique. It's so hard to explain. Actually, it kind of reminds me of the Flower Beauty blush, like a warm pink. Very interesting. It gives a very opaque one swipe application. It is semi-matte. I would call it satin. That's probably what they mean by semi-matte. It gives kind of a shine, but it's not super like slippy or anything like that. I think it's a beautiful lipstick and it is extremely affordable. I see it on sale on Ulta all the time for like $2 and change. I think at that price it is well worth it, and I actually was looking into buying some more of these until I looked in my lip drawer and saw how many damn lipsticks I have. But I would repurchase this one. Like I said, I think it's unique. The only thing I don't like about it is the smell. It is very strongly scented, like perfumey, which I don't love. But I don't feel like it bothers me once it's on my lips or anything like that, but I do really love this lipstick and I would repurchase it. And then my last lip product is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Cream in the shade Fenty Glow. So if you've been here before, you know my favorite lip product of all time is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb, the original in Fenty Glow. And so I bought the cream version. I like this. I definitely don't like it as much as the original. And I feel like this Fenty Glow is different than the original Fenty Glow. I feel like this one is a lot brighter, a little bit more pinky, and the one in the original is a little bit more deeper, more, I don't know. I really like the original one. And I can't help but compare this to the original. And so with that being said, honestly, I don't think I would repurchase it. It's expensive. And I already have so many lip glosses in my collection that I like more than this, to be honest with you. It's not a bad product. I will continue to use it. I will probably use it up, but I don't think I would repurchase it. I'm surprised that I'm saying that. I don't think I would. Okay, and now we're down to the eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so I have 3 eyeshadow palettes to talk about. So the first one is the KKW Beauty Classic Eyeshadow Palette. This is the only KKW Beauty eyeshadow palette that I own, and I did buy this at Ulta on sale a few years ago. You know, obviously they're not in business anymore. One of the shades came broken and it keeps getting everywhere. And of course it's the dark metallic in the palette. Love that for me. So this is what it looks like. It is a gorgeous neutral palette. I'm not going to lie. It's really beautiful. I have only used it a few times. I'm not going to lie. I need to pull this out and use it again. These videos always remind me of the things I need to pull out and use again. I think this is a gorgeous palette. The quality of these shadows is nice. It's a very different formula. The mattes are buildable, so they're not super pigmented off the bat. They are definitely softer shadows. They build up. There's only 3 metallics in here, which I like. I like a more matte heavy palette. And I like that the 3 metallics are light, medium, and deep. That's really nice. The mattes go from light to deep as well, so you can create depth. I think I would repurchase this, honestly. I think it's a really beautiful palette. I really don't use it very often, and I should. I kind of wish I had purchased more things from the line. I love the lip liners, of course. You can't get any of this stuff anymore because it doesn't exist, but I think if I could get it, I would get it. The next palette to talk about is the So Jaded palette from Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. This is an iconic palette to me. It's one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. I think they did an amazing job with this color story. At the time that this came out, it was very unique, very unique. And to this day, it's pretty unique in my collection. I think it's gorgeous. One of their first, was this the first mega palette that ColourPop released? I think it might be. I love the concept of this palette. I love the color story. I think the quality of the shadows is very, very good. And I would repurchase it. I would repurchase it. It would create a hole in my collection without this in it. And I, again, need to use this more because it's been quite a long time, but I do love this palette a lot. Yes, I would repurchase it. And the last palette to talk about is the Oden's Eye Hela palette. This is the palette they did in collaboration with Angelica Nyqvist. So this is what the outside looks like. And then on the inside, gorgeous, gorgeous. Quality of these shadows is top notch. Some of the best Oden's Eye quality that I've tried personally. I love that it's a half green, half kind of pinky purple color story. It's very unique. It's very beautiful. I loved the looks that I got out of this palette. And these are the greens that I like. Greens that are a little bit more yellow based, a little bit warmer. I'm not a huge fan of like blue leaning greens. So for me, this is like the perfect green section up there. And then I love the pinks. I love that you get a deep matte down here, and this multi-chrome is so beautiful. So I actually would 100% be repurchasing this. And unfortunately, I think it's all gone. The moment that I'm filming this is Cyber Monday, and I'm pretty sure that today was the last day that you could pick the palette up. So unfortunately, it's gone forever, but if it was still available and I didn't have it and someone took it from my collection, I would 100% repurchase it. All right, and that is it for this Would I Repurchase These Products video. Let's do a quick recap. So I have 7 products I would not repurchase. I have the Hard Candy Primer. I have the Oma by Sharon C Foundation. I have the Wet n Wild Bronzer and Highlighter Duo. I have the NYX Wonder Stick Blush. I have the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I have the e.l.f. Retro Paradise Lip Pencil, and I have the Makeup by Mario Liquid Lipstick. Then for repurchases, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 products. I have the Ilia Soft Focus Finishing Powder. I have the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer, the Flower Beauty Flower Pots Blush in Spiced Petal. That was really hard for me to say. I have the Essence Semi Matte Lipstick in the shade Bold. I put this in the wrong pile. This goes in the I would not repurchase. The Fenty Beauty Gloss Balm Cream. That is also hard to say what is wrong with me today. Then I have the 3 eyeshadow palettes. So I have the KKW Beauty Classic palette, So Jaded palette from ColourPop, and the Hela palette from Oden's These videos are really good for me because I feel like I've just kind of rediscovered some new products. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on any of these products. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot when you do that. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe before you leave. I do upload videos weekly, both beauty and fashion videos, and I would love to see you back on my channel again. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.